I am recording. Ba, ba, ba. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 655th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I'm here again this week. I genuinely wish Pokemon Sleep was a game that actually helped you sleep, because I need that. Yup. I was so tired yesterday, but I'm here. I'm less tired today.
It's good at waking you up when you wake up to a shiny, and you're like, "Oh,
it's true."
And now I'm really awake.
Yes.
Bobby also here.
I signed up for Pokemon Sleep Premium again.
Really?
We're back.
Yeah,
Full throttle Pokemon Sleep podcast.
Another 6 months. Another 6 months. So.
Wow.
I'm back on the premium.
Was the game just unbearable without the premium?
It wasn't unbearable, but I really do like playing Pokemon Sleep, and I just like playing with the premium thing, with the premium pass more than not with the premium pass. So I figured, like, if I'm gonna keep playing this game regularly, I'm gonna just give it money, I guess. So here we are. I'm back on premium.
All right. Well, speaking of money, we're going to be talking about TCG Pocket, and then we do have some Pokemon Sleep news after the break, and then we have a big old Pokemon HOME update that happened. Not really like an update, but news related, I guess. So that's our show. There's a lot this week. There's stuff we are not getting to this week that I want to get to, like the CGC stuff. But I guess we'll maybe wait. Maybe there'll be no news next week, so we can talk about that then. But
we're in February now. The Pokemon news is ramping up.
Yeah,
it's true.
But I think the Pocket stuff is probably already going to be a lot. You notice I didn't say Pokemon Go. There probably is Pokemon. I know there's Pokemon Go news, but again, Pocket's going to dominate a lot of today's episode. So we're going to start with Pocket. And there's a brand new set, Space-Time Smackdown, arrived. 2 booster packs, 140 some cards. I don't know the exact number. 140 something.
155 for the regular set, and then some amount of secret rares.
Yeah, I think before it was coming out, everyone was saying 140 plus.
Yeah.
They added trading. There was a week long of people saying trading was completely garbage, and then since then they posted an update saying we're fixing trading. So do we want to talk about trading first, or do we want to talk about the new set first?
Let's start with the bad. So we'll go trading first.
Okay,
I agree.
Okay, perfect. We'll start off with the bad stuff. All right, I will read the apology first, because maybe it affects the conversation we're about to have. So I think we start there. They did not post this in the app at all. We talked about this, I think, a week or two ago, that like this is on their Twitter. And I don't think anywhere else. I don't think they post to Instagram or maybe Facebook. I have a Facebook, but I don't log. Well, I log in to make sure my parents are alive, but other than that, I don't log in.
I'll check their Facebook right now and see if they post to Facebook.
Okay.
But otherwise, no, they don't post anywhere else.
Yeah, I was like, they don't even post on Instagram, and Pokemon posts everything on Instagram, at least.
Yeah. Oh, real quick side note. The Pokemon Japan account on Instagram, like I think it's Pokemon_JPN or something like that, is very, very good. They post reels, and they post a lot of reels that are really cool. So if you are not following them, you should.
If you're still using Instagram.
If you are still, well, yeah. If you're not using Instagram, then negate the whole conversation. But
I thought you were gonna say like the Japanese Instagram posted a reel about this with like a deli bird explaining the news or something.
They would have if they were posting things for other products as well. But
All right, trading feature update. Since releasing the first iteration of the trading of the trading feature a few days ago, we have received a large number of comments. Thank you all for sharing your feedback. We hear you. We don't care. They didn't actually say that. The item requirements and restrictions implemented for the trading feature were designed to prevent abuse from bots and other prohibited actions using multiple accounts. Hey, it's almost like we talked about that. Our goal, look how they literally just admitted it. Our goal was to balance the game while maintaining a fair environment for all players, preserving the fun of collecting cards at the core to the Pokemon TCG Pocket experience. However, thanks to your feedback, we understand that some restrictions put in place are preventing players from being able to casually enjoy the feature as intended. We are actively investigating ways to improve the feature to address these concerns. Going forward, we plan to offer multiple ways to obtain trade tokens, including through event distributions. As always, thank you for being a part of the TCG Pocket community. Anything on Facebook?
Nothing on Facebook. I don't even think there's a page for Pokemon TCG Pocket on Facebook.
God, it's just Twitter. Perfect.
Yeah, wonderful.
Hannah, you were not here for last week's conversation where Bobby and Al and I talked about why would there both be hourglasses and tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it was to prevent bots and multiple accounts, and this is what they're saying as well, because I guess hourglasses were just not enough. Anyways, Hannah, go ahead with your thoughts.
It was not good, and I haven't done any of the trades yet because of it.
That sounds about right.
I mean, I lost all enthusiasm for it immediately.
Okay.
The issue you all had was you had enthusiasm.
It's a main focus of the game. When they first announced the game, it was pretty much the biggest focus of the entire trailer.
Yeah, that I think the issue that I have with how trading opened is that the game has been so laser focused on the collection aspect and has really ignored the battling aspect. And I don't mean that, sorry, not the game, but the marketing, like everything toward like what this game is about. Like if you look at the website, they may have changed it now, but for the longest time, they didn't even mention battling on the website, on the official website of Pocket. The main focus of this game from their perspective is the collecting aspect. One big part of collecting, especially when it comes to cards, whether it's digital or physical, is trading them to each other, because we open a ton of packs and then get 47 Woobats. I don't need 47 Woobats, so I can give 46 of them to other people, right? But like so when you roll out a feature that is seemingly like really important to how you want people to go about using the game, it just feels like it was rolled out. It was just a bad rollout for this. Like, I just feel like they went too hard on trying to, if they really were trying to keep the bots and the multi-accounters from doing stuff, I feel like they went too extreme that way.
If you want to make it feel like the best parts of the TCG, you need to include the trading part of that in a way that people can actively do.
Now, to be fair, there isn't an online Pokemon trading card game that has trading in it until this, because Pokemon Trading Card Live does not have trading.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be the good one.
There's a part of me that probably said that they looked at what happened with online, which was before live, and was like, we need some restrictions in place, because trading on Pokemon Trading Card Game online was a nightmare. It was terrible, and it was there were instances where, you know, people would just be like, here's 3 full art Cynthias. I have 20 of them. You can just have them. And that's like cool. And like they were like literally give me like 1 Zigzagoon. I don't care, because you could make those trades, right? And there were other trades where it was like, oh man, I have 3 full art Cynthias. I just need 1 more. Let me go to the trading board to see what's there. And it's like, oh cool. Everyone wants like 30 packs of like emerging powers. No one wants emerging powers, but like they would want like unopened booster packs, which you could trade in TCG Live. So it was like the trades were just really kind of ridiculous. And there's a whole separate argument of whether or not the TCG Live should have trades, but I think everyone who plays TCG Live is pretty just content with
crushing the cards and
crushing the cards and getting exactly what you need and going from that.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I still think like trading card game Live is obviously more battle focused than this game, right? This game, again, collection first, whereas TCG Live isn't collection first. I mean, there is obviously a collecting aspect to it, but really it's a battle focused game. And so
online was more collecting focused. Like online had like your binders and, well, not binders, but like your set collections, and then your
that was, as someone who obviously likes collecting more than battling, that was a real bummer when online switched to live and it was like, wait, I can't even like look at my collection anymore. But yeah, this being so much more collecting focused just feels like they're rolling trading out. I feel like there were ways to already stop. I mean, like having to trade for the same rarity just in the first place is like, that's enough. I mean, there is something there to like, I mean, I guess like you could be, like trading your trash EX cards for like Mewtwo EX over and over again or something. So there is that. But even still, like, it's just because they don't want people selling off these cards, because it's, again, you can't trade the most, like, the rarest cards.
Yeah, and I mean, not all EX cards are even the same rarity, so being able to stick with trading cards of the same rarity is already a pretty solid restriction.
Wait, all EX cards are the same rarity?
Are you talking about like Weavile, full art
versus...
Weavile, what was the other one called? Alternative art, sorry.
Yeah, you mean like the difference with, I just mean like you can get, so like all regular EX cards that are not like special arts are 4 diamonds.
Yeah, yes.
So I meant for like battle purposes, you just need to have
purposes,
4 diamond for a 4 diamond card.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand how, I don't feel like people, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I maybe are people selling accounts that are just battle ready with like all the best 4 diamond cards?
I mean, like, I don't have an answer for you for that, but like I think the answer is just yes, especially as more cards will get added.
Yeah, but even then it's like, okay, but they're limiting what sets we can buy. I feel like they did a lot to limit this. Like, we can't trade Space-Time Smackdown. We can't trade anything above a 1-star. We can't.
If you would like a fresh account with a gold art Mew, they are selling a fresh account for $6.
Yeah, only $6.
Only $6, but they're only saying that your fresh account is getting the gold Mew.
That's it.
This is saying they're selling 2 gold crown rare Mewtwo EXs for $10 when you start your account.
That's fine, because I think we looked up some of these a few weeks ago or something as well. Those are all like gold cards though. But I'm talking about like these limitations that they've already set in place to where gold cards can't be traded, 2 stars can't be traded, immersives can't be traded. Like
right. So I'm just saying that like without trading, people are selling fresh accounts. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's gonna happen. Like, that no matter what they do, it's not going to stop these types of things from happening. But you can't completely limit everyone else's like trading because you want to stop someone from selling. And again, you can't trade the stuff that's 2-star and above. So like what they're limiting is people selling like regular EX cards or like battle ready accounts for what purpose? Like, I just, it's like, as we get further into this, I get it, but we're not at that point, and I just feel like they just went too far right off the bat.
There are just a lot of restrictions in place all at once when only some of them would have been plenty sufficient.
Yeah, and I get that they don't want to like start one way and then add more in like 6 months, and then people are now mad in 6 months that they've now added these things in that weren't there in the beginning. Like, I understand that, and I think, I mean, the apology kind of says it, right? They're seeing this and they're like, okay, let's tweak it the other way a little bit so that it's not so heavy here, or let's figure out ways to make it so people can get these items a little bit more easily. So they're working on it. I get it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate how quickly they've done this before, haven't they? They've said they've put out like a feedback note about something once before as well. I don't remember what feature it was for, but they did it once before. I'll go find it after this.
But this update was on Pokemon.com. I did find it on Pokemon.com.
Okay, that's
okay. Well, that's good. At least it's in another place.
Okay, for maybe those that like didn't experiment with the trade feature, you can trade 1 diamond and 2 diamond completely for free.
I did do that.
Nice. Those don't cost anything, and then when you get to a 3 diamond, that is 120 trade tokens, and then a 4 diamond, which would be like an EX. That would be 500 trade tokens, and then a 1 star would be 400 trade tokens. That would be like an immersive, not an immersive. I'm sorry, a alternative art Ditto, for example, would be a star. I'm right on that, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
You can obtain trade tokens for mission events or by consuming duplicate of 3 diamond or higher. So 3 diamond would give you 25. So to put that in perspective, you would have to crush 3 diamond to trade a 3 diamond. A 4 diamond would be 125. So again, you would have to crush about that. You would have to crush 4.
4.
Right.
Yeah. You'd have to crush 4 diamond to trade
to
1
then
4
trade
diamond.
a diamond, and then if you crush a 1 star, that's 100. A 2 star is 300. A 3 star is 300. That actually doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. Then a crown would be 1,500.
And it's got the mute. Oh no, but you also have to have, but it's also like flare in that you have to have.
Do you?
Yeah,
2.
you have to have the 2 in order to crush the 3rd.
Yeah, you have to have a
assume.
3rd one because you have to have 2 available after you crush one.
Yeah.
You can't crush one and only have 1 left afterwards.
I will double check that right now because I do have 2 gold Mewtwo's.
Did you try to crush anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I looked at it because when it first came out to see if I wanted to trade anything.
For the record, I think this system is bad. I lost hope with trading way before everyone else did. I can tell you the exact moment I lost hope with trading. It was when people figured out you could just change your game language and then start opening up those booster packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the big hype was around having the different language cards there.
Yep. And that's what I wanted to trade for. Now, like a month ago, I talked about how like one of my favorite things in Pokemon Go was like trading people. And I have 54 Skidoos that I can trade people. And the reality is like I can't find people to trade. Now, in Pokemon Go, you have to be in person, but like I have, however, 75 Deoxys in my Pokemon home. Like no one to really trade with. I really enjoy like trading and giving people what they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I never really got that feeling with Pocket of like
Really?
No, like I'm missing 4 cards from Genetic Apex, like 4 to like get the Mew, right?
Yeah.
And one's like a hypno. And the other is like a Moltres EX, because I have the promo Moltres EX, so that doesn't count.
Got it.
So it's like, I'm not in a rush to get like a Moltres EX, you know?
Yeah. I guess I feel that. I traded with someone in the Slack earlier this week, and they just needed a 2-diamond card. And then I needed a 2-diamond card. Like, I was like, oh, I don't have 2 of this specific 2-diamond card, so let's just, we just were trading just to see how it worked and everything. But it also was cool that it's like, oh, I can give you this card that you need. Like, now you don't have to wonder pick it. Now you don't have to, like, hope to open a pack for it. Like, here it is, So it did have that feeling, but we also weren't trading stuff for currency. So it didn't feel as heavy. It didn't feel like, oh, I have to go and crush, like, an EX card so I can trade someone a, lesser, like a 3-diamond card or whatever, like it didn't have that same weight to it because it was the free trades, which
I think that
felt
maybe...
good, honestly.
Yes.
Just to be able to trade and not have to have like the weight of what am I like crushing behind it, because the whole point is I want to trade the cards. So it's like you have to crush cards that you would otherwise be able to trade to somebody. You have to literally throw away cards so that you can trade somebody a card. It just doesn't.
That part wasn't surprising to me at all.
Really?
The crushing
like,
cards?
The fact
great,
that like
though.
I have, because so first off, I have to have at least 3 EX cards, right? Let's just use EX as an example. So I have to have 3 EX cards if I want to get 125 tokens. I have to have 3 EX cards. I have to crush one and have to have 2 left over. And now I've also lost an EX card that I could potentially trade to somebody who might need that EX card at some point in the future. It just doesn't like...
Look, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's not surprising. That's what I'm saying. I had the alternative art Wheezing, whatever, the one that people play in Koga, right?
Star Wheezing, yeah.
I had 8 of them. No one, it's like the Skidoo thing. I'm not going to find 6 people to be like, Steve, I'm missing that Wheezing. I'm just not. So like for me, that's like 4 get crushed, and I still have 4. I only need 2 for a deck, and then 2 would be, don't say, Hannah, I could. I have all these Skidoos, and they're not going anywhere. No one is asking me for Wheezing.
If you could trade Skidoo without having to be in person, you'd get rid of all of those Skidoo in a heartbeat. Like, you know it. You know that you'd be able to. Like,
no, I wouldn't, because every time I try to trade this, no one has enough start.
Okay,
Skidoo is a lot cheaper, but like the amount of times I've gone in person to a Go event and somebody's like, they want something from me, and I'm like, I don't care, whatever, you can just have it. And then we go to trade and they're like, oh, you don't have enough Stardust. I will tell you right now, I've said this time and time again, I stand by this, do not trade with children or even like teenagers or like young adults. They never have enough Stardust. You want to find the old grandmas that are walking around these parks. They have so much Stardust. They know exactly what they want. They have things to offer. So like when you're like dealing with like a younger person who like, and I say younger person as like maybe like somebody in college who like plays the game off and on. They don't know what they want. They open up the game just for community day, and they don't have enough Stardust. So it's like I can't even trade this to you anyways.
I want to clarify, this is Steve's. These are Steve's comments and Steve's comments only.
Yep.
The old ladies are fantastic.
As
great.
Someone who ran a college Pokemon Go club, I promise you there are college age people who can trade appropriately, and I'm sure there are younger people who can as well. But going back to Pocket, the reason we thought that Shine Dust was going to be the item that we would use to do trades was because of where we got it.
Yep.
And you don't get Shine Dust from crushing cards.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind adding another currency. Like, I don't love it, but it is
two currencies. Two
currencies. Yeah, that I think that's just a little excessive. I still think that crushing cards is not like, I just wish there was a different way to go about doing it rather than crushing cards. Just because of the concept.
It sounds like they're fixing it. That's how they're fixing it. They are making other ways.
Yeah.
Besides crushing cards.
They're not fixing it. Nothing they said was a fix. They were like, we're adding more tokens and everything through events. They already said that was coming before this.
Yeah, but I think that they're gonna. So you think that this apology is just a non-apology? You think it's just a
Correct.
We're sorry that you don't like the way that this works, but like these are things that we were already planning to do. We're just now telling to you kind of out loud.
Yes. I think this was I think like I said, I think this was 1,000,000% designed to make it exciting when there is an event that is trading focused, right? So we have like a Wonder Pick event to make Wonder Picks more exciting. Also, side note, because I brought up Wonder Pick, I actually think that, so my first thing that like destroyed my excitement for trading was people could just change your own language. And it was like, oh, well, I don't need to like meet a Japanese person because somebody could just change their game to Japanese, and that kind of ruins like because I at least thought like, oh, well, at least like trading, like I have to find a Japanese friend or I have to go to Japan, and that would be like how I would get there. And that doesn't matter. The second is actually Wonder Pick. I was not hot on Wonder Pick when I first did it, but this is why I don't have that Moltres card, right? I'm missing Moltres, I'm missing Hypno, and then I'm missing like 2 other Pokemon cards to get my Mew. And it's like, I don't want to spend pack points,
Right.
but also like, what if it just shows up in Wonder Pick? So it's like this, like, there's no rush to get that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the cards I was missing, I just Wonder Picked it. Like,
But as we get more and more sets, that's going to be less and less likely. I think that, honestly, I think they should have released trading before Space-Time Smackdown with at least a few weeks separating them, as people were still focused on completing the previous sets before everybody is focused on this new set that they can't even trade. I think that it would have been helpful to kind of have that buffer in between the introduction of trading and Space-Time Smackdown coming out. I think that really, ultimately, it would have been great if trading was here like a week after the game released. But right now, everybody feels bad about trading and has the new set to focus on, and so just trading has become a background thing.
Yeah.
In an unfortunate way.
Okay, yeah. So they have the Wonder Pick events, they have the battle events. I think the entire plan was going to have trading events, and the trading events was going to give you tokens, and like during the trading event there was going to be like half off trades, where they could like time limit it and make you like make people feel excited for that weekend, and then if you want to trade naturally. I don't think their apology or whatever like steers any way different from what they were already planning.
I absolutely think it does. And the reason is because of one specific sentence. Because at the end, they do say that going forward, we also plan to offer multiple ways to obtain trade tokens, including through event distributions. Okay. Also, the sentence before that, though, says we are actively investigating ways to improve the feature to address these concerns. And then after saying that they're actively investigating, they then say we also had planned distributions for events and things like that. So they do mention the events, but that's separate of also saying they're trying to figure out ways to fix what's going on.
Well, yeah, they're gonna discount it by like 25 tokens and be like, we fixed it, it's cheaper. Like,
Yeah,
do you
that's possible.
they're not gonna change the system.
I'm not gonna be pessimistic toward them because they haven't done anything yet to make me feel like they won't fix what people are saying. Like we haven't had a situation where there was a lot of feedback and then they just went and ignored those people's
DeNA has
concerns.
done this. They have done this.
No, for this game specifically.
No, not for this game.
Niantic did it for Ingress before Pokemon Go came out. People were like, "You're never going to get through to Niantic ever." And I'm not saying Niantic has been great at it, but people who played Ingress were like angry at Pokemon Go fans because Niantic was fixing their problems because of how popular it was. So it's possible that even though DeNA in the past hasn't done things, that doesn't mean they're not going to for this when this game is
a
different.
big, huge, popular game.
I'm gonna hold out. I'm not saying like if they don't do anything, I'm not gonna sit there and say like and be super angry about it. It is what it is. But I'm gonna stay hopeful that like there will be some kind of change to at least not make it as extreme on the end that it currently is on.
The thing that I actually feel bad for is the people who were like crushing cards Because
Yes.
side note. The people who are like, well, it's not shine dust, so I guess I'll start spending my shine dust. And so they were crushing cards and then spending shine dust and then realized, oh, I need to also crush cards to get tokens. And now I've crushed those cards.
We all specifically know someone in the Slack who did that like a day before trading came out.
Yeah.
We all felt bad for them.
Think about, I don't think people think about how expensive it is to trade a Pokemon in Pokemon Go because we've been playing this game for 8 years. So I had a friend who missed Sprigatito Community Day. We are 4-star friends. We're best friends. They're like, hey, do you have an extra Sprigatito? I was like, I sure do. I caught 20 shiny Sprigatitos. You can just have one. And they were like, well, what do you want? I was like, I don't care. So they sent me like a Volbeat or something, right? Maybe it could be lucky. 4-star best friends. A shiny Sprigatito that they didn't have was 40,000 Stardust. Mm-hmm. People just don't realize how expensive Pokemon Go trading is. Without any boost, without Stardust, without like the weather thing, that is 400 Pokemon you have to catch. That's a lot. You have to catch 400 Pokemon to trade one non-legendary shiny. And that is being best friends with that person.
Yeah, but that's part of the core game loop, and you're catching Pokemon all the time. You are constantly getting
You're opening
more
cards all the time.
You're not.
But you're not crushing.
You are. You're
all the
opening
time.
2 packs a day.
And you're not even guaranteed a 3 diamond or above in a pack.
Yeah.
And there are also multiple ways to get Stardust in Pokemon Go.
There is. But Pokemon Go is also 8 years old.
That's fine, but it doesn't, like, we can, obviously it's going to evolve. Obviously, like, this feature itself is going to evolve over time. But, like, it really comes down to how you introduce it to the public. Like,
I still think it's slightly different because in Pokemon Go, you are accumulating Stardust just by playing the game on a very basic level. In order to get this new currency in Pocket, you have to actively go in and crush cards to get it.
Yeah.
You're not accumulating it constantly.
But you only need 2 of every card, technically.
I know, but in a game that's the whole in a game where the focus, so in Pokemon Go, the focus is not like, the main focus of Pokemon Go is not trading. Trading is a feature, a heavy feature of it. But like, there's so many different aspects of Pokemon Go and ways to play Pokemon Go, right? In the Pokemon trading card game Pocket, there are like 2 ways to play Pocket at this point. There is collecting and there is battling. Uh-huh. And when one is, so now they've introduced trading, and when it's just so heavy on like, you're not collecting those rarer cards that often. Like in Pokemon Go, I can go and I'm like, you can go walk around even with like an incense or your daily incense, and you're going to catch, 15, 20, 30 Pokemon. And it doesn't, I mean, if they're like an evolved form, sure, you're going to get more Stardust on the catch. But like in Pocket, I did just open like 10 packs yesterday, and I hit 1 3-diamond card in those 10 packs. Like, and I can't crush the 2 and the 1 diamond cards to get anything. So it's like,
again, I think, but you're ignoring the fact of how expensive it is in Pogo. If I'm 7-day friends with you, Bobby, mm-hmm. and I'm trading you a shiny Sprigatito and you're giving me a non-shiny Weedle, it's 800,000 Stardust.
But it's also a shiny Pokemon. Like, you have to think about the rarity here on like what it is that you're also trading.
Yeah, and we're comparing it to an EX.
I'm comparing it to even just a 3-diamond card. A 3-diamond card's 120.
Even comparing it to the 3-diamond card. Trying to get another Melmetal or trying to get another Greninja for my deck, for me to get that flare that I'm looking for, is the 3-diamond cards that it's really annoying to get now.
If we're trading something that is not... If we're trading Weedle for Caterpie, we're good friends, 7 days, 20,000 Stardust. That means I'd have to catch 200 Pokemon to trade you 1 Pokemon. That's what I'm trying to put in perspective.
200 Pokemon isn't hard in Pokemon Go. You can do that in a day.
No one is saying that this is hard or not. It is not hard to open a booster pack and then throw away cards.
It costs money to get that much. You can't...
You could spend money in Go to accelerate all of this. You can spend money and go to get star pieces. You can spend money and go to get Pokeballs. Sure, your
That's
location
funny.
I still
matters.
think that it's
in Pokemon
important
Go.
My
that in
problem isn't how expensive it is. My problem is the methods.
I think that's
of going
everyone's
about-
problem is how expensive it is.
No, but my problem is the methods of going about doing it. In Pokemon
Yeah.
Go, I catch 200 Pokemon to trade a Pokemon. I'm not crushing 200 Pokemon. Like, I'm not crushing the Pokemon I want to trade one. Like,
And you are getting that currency as you play the game. You aren't getting this currency as you play the game. You have to
Right.
intentionally go in to crush the card to get that currency. And I think that makes a big difference. Another reason we had thought that the currency for trading in Pocket was going to be Shine Dust was because it was really nice to have the idea that everyone had just been accumulating this currency for the first couple of months the game had been out, so that we would have that lots of currency to do the trades once the feature came out. That felt like a good thing.
We talked about how those whatever premium tokens are way too expensive. You have to crush if you crush an EX, that gives you like one token, but if you crush a gold card, that gives you enough tokens to buy literally everything in the store. That was already expensive. I think also to give Hannah a bunch of credit, when Hannah pointed out that to flare an EX card is like 90,000. I think, and Bobby brought this up too. I didn't know that existed either because I didn't look at the flares at all.
yeah. That was
It's not like other
eye-opening.
things in the game are not expensive.
It's true. That's
Yeah.
true. It just seems like like your point, the special set and stuff. That seems so. There is a collection aspect to that as well. That just seems so different from like trading. Just seems like it's such a integral aspect of like
It's supposed to be a core aspect of the game. Yeah.
And here,
You can
I'll
tell
give
by
you
the
this.
menus.
I'll
It is
give you this,
supposed to be a core aspect of the game.
Yeah, like Pokemon TCG, a lot of people keep going back to like, it says trading in the name. And it's like, yeah, it's just the name. It's a brand name. Like Pokemon trading card game has been around forever. These are all subsets of what is the Pokemon trading card game, right? What is the physical game? Live is a subset. It's an online version. Pocket is a subset of Pokemon trading card game. So like, I don't so much believe like, because trading is in the name, it has to have trading because that's just a brand essentially. But I do think that the fact that they focus so much on the collecting aspect in their marketing of this and the way that they push
And
this
the
game
trading
out,
aspect in their marketing. In
It
the
just-
very first trailer, it was full of people trading. It was
Yeah,
what
it
we
just-
knew this game to be.
yeah, and you know,
No,
like in the
I agree.
ad,
I would
it didn't-
agree with you both there.
in the ad when the person's trading like, I don't know, it was like a Pikachu EX or something. We didn't know that they had to crush 4 Pikachu EXs first.
I
I
think that is bad to crush 4 EXs to trade 1 EX. I think that's a bad ratio. I don't know what a better ratio is, but like here's my biggest
I don't think you
complaint.
should have to crush cards to get this currency. I think that shouldn't have been a way to get this currency.
They just need to open up another option. Like, I feel like if they can, I mean, they're going to keep this one in, right? They're not going to remove the ability to crush cards to get tokens.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
give us another, like, and they will with
It
events
shouldn't have
and
been.
stuff. But
I will rephrase before we get too far away from that statement. It shouldn't have been the main way to get this currency. It should have been like
Right.
the backup way to get this currency. But as we are starting out, and it is the main way to get this currency, I think that's bad.
yeah, again, it's like
Yeah, I agree.
bad first impression. Also, honestly, like, I'm sure they didn't think this was going to happen, but waiting 24 hours to do like give the 500 trade token like thing, they, looking back of hindsight's 2020, but they probably should have done that immediately.
Yeah,
because it only
then
took
people are going to
24
feel
hours.
really bad about their first 24 hours.
Yeah, it made everybody in the first 24 hours already be like angry at trading. And there's a good chance that if we had all been given 500 tokens, it may have lessened the blow a little bit. And then people like wouldn't have been able to ramp that anger up in the first 24 hours because they would have had a way to like trade something more rare. I'm not saying like,
Yep.
I'm just saying like looking back on it, I'm sure they're like, That 24 hours kind of hit hard.
So ideally, they would have introduced the currency sooner to let people build up at least a little bit of it, or given the gift out before the feature was fully out. They would have introduced the trading feature at a distance before the newer set. And I think that all of that and they would have implemented other ways to get this currency besides just crushing cards at the time of this feature's release. I think that those 3 changes would have made everybody feel pretty okay about trading.
I think DeNA is feeling pretty okay with the amount of money that was probably spent when Space Smackdown came out.
Yeah, but that's not trading. That happened regardless.
Yeah.
Here's my one problem with it that I didn't see a lot of people talk about. I have no problem crushing cards. I don't. I got
Really?
12 of I have 12 of those Vapor. Like, as somebody who is sitting around 1 million cards, somebody take them for free, please. Somebody break into my house and take these cards away from me. I have like 16 of those Vaporeon that do the like. I don't know how.
How are you so lucky? I have like 1,000 more cards than you in Pocket, and
I don't know.
I do not have the same number of cards that you have. Like, I have been searching like low and high for a second Darkai EX, and I watched you pull like 2 in one 10 pull, and I do not understand how you're so lucky.
That was pretty crazy. That Executor from Mythical Island, I got like 10 of them. I just don't need them. I'll crush all of them. No one is asking for that Executor either, because it's pretty easy to get. Like, okay, so here's the problem. Here's the problem that no one's talking about. Not the amount of Executor I have. The problem I have is I don't want to sit there and crush them. They take too long.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, if there was, like, a button that said, like, if I have, like, any extra duplicates over, like, 5 or something, so I can at least have, like, 4 of each. If I could just press a button and that would just, like, grind everything I have into, like, a currency, I'd be, like, perfect.
I think it would be better to have more choice than that. Something akin to the multiple select, the mass transfer in Pokemon Go, but that's harder to do in Pocket because you need to keep 2 of the cards around.
Yeah, let me like tap and hold like in Pokemon Go, and then say like, what's the minimum amount you want to keep? And I'm like, I want at least 4 of everything, and then crush everything above that. So instead of me having 10 Executors, it brings it down to 4. It auto crushes the 6. It crushes those Vaporeon. It crushes those Weezing that I'm never going to get rid of. Like, the crushing doesn't bother me. The cost does. But also, like I said at the beginning, I don't really have a horse in this race. I lost all hope in trading when people could just change their languages. Because the thing I wanted to trade for was different languages.
Yeah.
But there are people like me, 100%. I know I'm the people like me are probably in the minority. There are people like me that are like, I'm missing the Hypno. I could just trade for it, but it's going to be really exciting when I pull that Hypno. So I'm not going to trade for it. And again, I know we're in the minority, but it's the same people that are like, I don't want to get my own shiny. I don't want to trade for a shiny. I want to like find it myself. And
so you're planning to go back to pull from those older sets already?
Apex? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm done with Smackdown at this point.
Okay.
You're not gonna. Okay, interesting.
But I got everything. I don't need anything else.
You got everything.
That
you
is
want
not
for,
the situation that everybody's in.
Deck wise, you mean?
Yeah, deck wise.
Deck wise, okay. Because I was gonna say like, I still have like 14 cards left to complete that set.
I still need 1 Gardevoir and 1 Mewtwo to get like the emblems. That's like the main reason I'd go back to genetic.
Got it.
Speaking of Smackdown,
I think I have all of those, which is funny.
Yeah, no, I'll trade you some Vaporeons or some Executors. Let's take a break and then we'll talk about the new set. So we will be right back. This podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. I don't know about you, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers, those big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping our money too. After years of overpaying for wireless, it's understandable that people are fed up with crazy high bills, fees, the free perks that are actually you're not using or costing you more money. But then you think about switching to Mint Mobile. With Mint Mobile, you can say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans Your plans on Mint Mobile come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. On top of that, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan, and you can bring along your phone number too. There's no secrets here on this podcast. You want to save money, but more importantly, you want to play Pokemon Go. You want to play your Pokemon TCG Pocket. You want to play your Pokemon Masters EX. And you're asking the question right now, can I do that on Mint Mobile? Yes, you can. Absolutely. I'll even do you one better. You can play Pikmin Bloom if you really want to on your Mint Mobile plan because of the 5G network, because of the great speeds, and in the back of your mind, you're saving money. If you like money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/PKMNcast. That's mintmobile.com/PKMNcast. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for the first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And we are back from our break. Space-Time Smackdown. Bobby, how many Darkrai did you pull?
I hate you for asking that. I opened, how many packs have I opened? 110, 120?
You hit the limit.
And I didn't hit the limit. No, not in one day. I just opened 120 over the last few days. And I pulled one Darkrai EX. And I am so, because I pulled one Weavile EX, and then I wonder picked a Weavile EX, and I was excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, let's get this second Darkrai EX and put together this deck. And I have not been able to pull it. And then I go and watch you pull 800 Darkrai EX on your stream.
I pulled only 2.
That's all you need.
That's right. No, I needed a third one to crush. Hannah, how many Darkrai did you pull?
I pulled 0 Darkrai. I've pulled from 18 packs so far, I think, because that's all I had the currency for, and I am still a free-to-play player at this point in time. But the very first pack I pulled did have the immersive Dialga in it. So
good.
That was very satisfying.
So good. Jeez. Yeah, I have bad luck when it comes to anything related to Pokemon TCG and pulling cards. This does not sit well with me. I just have not been able to pull anything like any of the super rare stuff. I have immersives. I'm not able, I think I have a couple Celebi immersives, but other than that, I just don't pull those cards, and it's a real bummer to watch everyone else pull them. Yeah, it's a good set though. This is it's a lot of good artworks in this set. A lot of very playable cards. Darkrai EX seems to be taking over everything. Steve, you probably know a little bit more about that, right? Have you been playing some battles with switching stuff up, or?
No, I do like the battle events because I like getting something from it. I don't love at least in TCGO when I played, it was there was an ELO that was hidden. Yeah. So you were at least climbing and playing better players.
Yep.
Where Pocket is so
hit or miss,
random.
Yeah.
not like the matches are random. It's like your players are random because there's no. I don't think even in the win 5 in a row that it's considering even matching you against somebody of the same, or
doesn't just feel like it.
No, it's just sometimes my first match is the hardest, and then you get to your four, you're this is my 5th one, and the person just concedes right away because I don't know, and you're oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Darkrai is very dominant as a card. Yes. There's a couple grassroots tournaments happening, and Darkrai has been very dominant. There's a couple of versions of Darkrai out there. Darkrai with Weavile, and then I think the one that actually stands out the most is Darkrai with Magnezone.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Yeah, I think I already did a video of my impressions of the cards that were shown were like Dialga, Palkia, all that stuff. Talked about how Rocky Helmet would probably be an item that would be added, and it was an item that was added. I'm like really like proud of that video, I guess. I don't know, proud is a weird word to say, but like I can go back and I'm like, huh, I was right about like 90% of this. Like even in an instance where we talked about the starters, I was like, there's no way there would be a good Infernape Empoleon. There's no way there'd be a good Torterra. Infernape would be like a faster Charizard, and that's exactly what happened. Infernape is a faster Charizard. For some reason, I got so many comments of people being like, "You're sleeping on Dialga, is so OP. I can't believe you said Palkia was better." Palkia is winning in tournaments. Dialga is not. Like,
I didn't see where Dialga was OP. I honestly I still think Melmetal's better because it's not an EX.
People, a lot of like cards that have energy acceleration are put into like an OP category because excelling your energy is very good. But I mean, I said what I said about Dialga. I thought that like you're putting energy on something in the back, so whatever in the back has to be stronger than Dialga, and I still don't think that exists. Like, Melmetal is not stronger than Dialga. It's like fine.
It is,
but it's
no. I'm not talking about just like pure power.
Oh, got it.
Like an example would be if Dialga is sitting in front of Mewtwo, it gets one shot. If Melmetal, you're powering up, is sitting in front of Mewtwo, it's still getting one shot. Like it's not more. It's not powerful in that aspect. Like power is just not like power is the combination of your HP, your retreat costs, stage 1, stage 2, basic, your ability, your
You're
moves.
Also doing damage along the way with Dialga to get to your second move, whereas with Melmetal, there's nothing before. You only have the one move, right? So like with Dialga, you're building up to that while also damaging, whereas Melmetal you're not. So. I see it there. I just think like if I'm going to take one of the two into a battle, at least because of the way that I typically will play, like I'll play like a Melmetal where I'm like building it up in the either in the back on the bench, or like if you get the Meltan up there quick and you can get it up in like 2 moves to like, then that's fine because you have that amass move. But with, at the end of the day, I just feel like I would rather take a Melmetal in, and then when it does eventually get knocked out, I'm only losing 1 point versus 2. I agree with you in the sense I just didn't think that Dialga, I didn't see that and was like, oh, this is the way to go. Dialga's going to be like in everything. I just didn't see that.
If you play Pocket and haven't played a deck that has no EX cards, it makes a big difference. Yeah. Truly.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the 3 points instead of like technically 2.
Yeah. You can strategize in entire different ways.
Yeah.
And like I said that Palkia would end up being better just because there's a better support system for water, and that just panned out to be true. Like I didn't know Manaphy was coming, but Manaphy is better than Dialga in like every aspect. Like Manaphy is just a more powerful Dialga. And you'd be like, Steve, that doesn't make sense. Manaphy has 50 HP, Dialga has 150, but like Manaphy needs 1 energy to get started. Dialga needs 2. When Manaphy dies, which it will only give your opponent 1 point. Dialga is 2. And this is what I mean about powerful is like you're losing 2 points on Dialga to set up something on the bench, and whether that's like a Melmetal or a Pidgeot, they just need to knock out one more thing because Dialga's giving up 2. So I'm sure somebody will figure out Dialga. I'm sure. I didn't say it was a bad card. I just said like I don't think it's overpowered.
Right.
And I'm sure somebody will figure out Dialga, but I just don't think there's enough cards that benefit the metal ecosystem at this point. They love the water ecosystem.
Yeah,
there are a lot more metal now.
Whoever's choosing cards in Pokemon Pocket, it loves water Pokemon.
Well, there are a lot of water Pokemon to work with.
True.
Yeah, but you have Misty, Dawn really helps there. Manaphy, Vaporeon. Like, you just have so much that benefits a water archetype. And, like, Metal now has Dialga, but they need a little bit more.
They got, they did it with a few Pokemon, but I like, is it Skarmory? And there's a couple others where
Yeah,
it's just
Skarmory's
like
not
if
too
a tool
bad.
is attached, it's like their move does like 30 extra damage,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
I don't think
yeah.
I don't think Skarmory's too bad. I think that Magnezone card is really cool because it takes an old card, the old Magneton, which can just get energy, and that's the one that people are using with Darkrai. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't love. It's funny that I talked about Rocky Helmet. I don't love Rocky Helmet as a card. I didn't like it back. Like, it's existed for a very long time in the normal TCG. It sees some play, but it's still like this weird thing where there's not a lot of cards to pick from in the grand scheme of thing.
Right.
Like, every deck is like 2 Pokeballs, 2 Oaks.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have like a lot. I would be curious of like when we get to a point of time where like you don't run Pokeball or you don't run Oak because there are better cards or this fits that better. But I don't know what you would change out for that.
So that brings up a good point, because I was thinking about now that we have Cyrus, and like obviously that depends on your deck, right? Like, but switching out, because Sabrina was like always in there too, right? That was one of them that was like that was constantly being played and stuff. And I feel like now we have Cyrus, and like obviously you have to have something like Spiritomb, right? Spiritomb's a great Pokemon with Cyrus, because Spiritomb, I think it does 10 damage to like all the Pokemon or something like that. Or anything that can snipe like Greninja or something, where you could hit something on the bench and then you just Cyrus it in, like if it's the only thing that has damage, right? But I do like that they added, I really do like that they added Cyrus, just because if nothing else, it just changes it up a little bit, where you're not going to have Sabrina in every single deck that you see.
I think Sabrina's good though.
Sabrina's great. Don't get me wrong. It's just the diversity of like cards, just seeing some stuff switch up that, again, you're going to see Profolk in every deck. You're going to see Pokeball in every deck. Like, and it's nice that Sabrina was in a lot of them, and it's like, oh, cool, this is switching for something else that plays a little differently, makes the game feel a little different, plays the way that you play against the bench a little different as well. So I like that a lot.
I like Pokemon communication. I think if you're running any deck that has a stage 2, so your Greninjas, your Gardevoirs, I think almost every deck would benefit from one communication at least, unless you're just running just pure basics. I don't think there's really anything that made Pikachu EX better. I don't think Pachirisu really makes Pikachu EX better.
Oh, really?
In any
Because I have
ways.
7 of them. So
You have
it'd be
7
nice.
Pachirisus? I got some Weezings I can trade you.
6 or 7 of them.
I got some Starmies I can trade you.
I only have 1 Starmie EX still somehow, and I wonder picked it.
It was interesting that pretty much all the cards leaked early, where like none of the cards for Mythical Island leaked early.
Yeah, the whole set list leaked early, right? Like a day or 2 early. Did they switch something up with how they dropped it in?
I don't know. I thought that was really interesting though.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. This has been like years coming, but I'm getting tired of like leaks for stuff, because it's like, yeah, sure, I could just not look, but I always feel bad for like these teams of people who put this stuff together for like the purpose of like releasing them on the time they want to release them, and then everybody's seen it all like a day or two
I thought
before.
they figured it out with Mythical Island.
Yeah.
Seemed like it. But also, with the dissolution of social media, there's going to be fewer ways to see the leaks.
That's true.
That's maybe a good thing. Maybe. I will say, with the Rocky Helmet thing, I think you said this in your video, Steve, I am starting to feel like there are just more cards that I really want in my deck that I don't have room for, that the decks are starting to feel really small.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a really good example is like if you ran 2 potions, you could swap them out for 2 capes. Because they're both ultimately giving you 20 HP in sense. But the tightness feels like, oh, I can't run both.
Right.
It just like where am I
There's
supposed to
just
fit
not
that?
room for that in almost any deck.
Like you could maybe cut you could make like if you were running 2 Sabrina or 2 Giovanni, you could probably cut one of those for like communication and like just by setting up faster, you don't need that extra grab from the bench, or you don't need that extra 10 damage just because you set up a little faster with communication. Like you could
As long as you pull it first, because sometimes a Sabrina or Giovanni, even if you pull it later in the game, they're still helpful. They're even more helpful.
But
That's
you have
true.
to like start making these like sacrifices. And 20 cards feels so small.
Yeah.
If anything, it just makes me want to play the regular TCG, which I think is maybe their goal.
Yeah, I think that is definitely part of it. I also think the fact that a lot of their cards are switch for random rather than go and pick what you want, which like is obviously like a lot of the cards that in the regular TCG or the physical TCG would be like look through your deck and pick out what you want, right? Like, and then with this, I get it because they want the matches to be quicker, and if they're doing, and also like you have a smaller deck, but it does feel a little bit like, to your point, it's just like, oh, like if this was like the physical TCG, like I'd be able to go pick a card rather than like have to like hope that the random thing is what I want, and you know, it definitely feels different. I mean, I'm not going to play the regular TCG anytime soon. I will stick to Pocket, but I do see that thought process.
I think Volkner is a really interesting card. I don't think it's particularly good, but I do like how it says that it's pulling from your discard pile because it's the first card we get from that. So instead of saying your energy zone, actually, when I saw this Volkner the night before, I was like, this is fake. We don't have a card that pulls from the there's not a single card that mentions the discard pile.
There is one. Maybe there's
Is there
not.
something in Genetic Apex that mentions it?
I have no idea what
it
card,
has
but I
to
feel like
do
there's
with
one.
Pulling, it's the card that you pull the basic Pokemon out of the other opponent's discard pile.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
the Poke Flute from Mythical Island.
Pokeflute,
Yeah.
yeah. You put it back on their bench from their discard pile. But not energy discard. Like it's
Not
different when
energy,
it's like
right?
The energy discard pile. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, you would have to, like, if you were playing Volkner and like Pikachu EX, you can't just play Volkner right away unless like a Pikachu with 2 energy gets knocked out, and now there's energy in the discard pile. I guess there could also be energy in the discard pile if you're retreating, because that energy comes off, goes to the discard pile.
Yeah.
But a lot of Pikachus are running X speed, so you're not actually discarding the energy. So I think Volkner is cool in the sense that they're digging in the discard pile. It's cool that they're adding tool cards. I think maybe I'm changing. I think I changed my perspective on trading. Hold this thought.
Wait a second.
I think as a free-to-play player, even with trading, this is what I'm going back on. Because I thought trading would like fix this. Even with trading, and even if they made the fixes to trading, I think as a free-to-play player, this set is the first set that makes you feel like you're falling behind. And I don't know if Hannah feels that way as a free-to-play player.
Can you elaborate more?
Is it just because they're adding so many mechanics that now like can't be used by someone if they're not pulling the correct cards
Yeah,
or
I
something?
think because there are new trainer cards, there are tool cards, and there are new Pokemon. That's why I'm asking Hannah. Like, it feels like you probably can't build any of the new decks if you wanted to.
I can't, but I couldn't for the first sets either for a while. Because this isn't a small set like Mythical Island, was.
Yeah,
There
but
are
I
just
think
a
for like
lot
the
of cards, and in some ways that feels like a good thing, because Mythical Island felt too small.
yeah. I think the difference is you got so many free booster packs when we all started, like not Hannah specifically, but like it was like we all got all the login bonuses. We did all those missions,
all the leveling
like,
up stuff.
all the leveling up stuff. Like when you first
Yeah.
jumped into Genetic Apex, it was like you could open like 50 or 60 packs completely for free, and it felt like, oh my gosh. And then everyone was wonder picking,
Yeah.
so you could wonder pick what you were missing. And now to what Hannah said the last segment of like, oh Steve, you're gonna go back to Genetic Apex, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably pull a couple,
And I'm so far from that.
but
I mean,
it's just like so the rumor is the next set is supposed to come out on Pokemon Day, which like
that's
makes
soon.
Special
which like makes
set,
sense. Yeah,
small, like a
probably
Mythical
like a
Island
Mythical
type
Island.
set.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a special set makes me worry a little bit less about that. Because with Mythical Island, we did still have time to go back to Genetic Apex and keep working on that. But, I mean, I wasn't saving my pack hourglasses very much, and maybe I should have
okay.
been.
Yeah, because I saved all mine.
Yeah, I was saving shop tickets. So this morning I went and literally bought every single hourglass I could in the shop after the refresh.
ooh, I forgot that refreshed.
Yep, that refreshed. I bought all of them. Really doesn't get you very many. Gets you like 15, 18, I think 15
Packs.
pulls. Yeah, through that. And that's most of how I've gotten my cards so far. And I'm not leveling up quick anymore, and yeah, maybe I will feel behind. I think that it's gonna take a little bit of time to really figure out how this feels to free-to-play players.
Yeah. I really didn't think about that with how, because like I'm thinking about like how we started off with Genetic Apex versus how I started off with Space-Time Smackdown. I'll just throw it out there, like a lot more money was spent with Space-Time Smackdown opening those packs than Genetic Apex. And I like, not until you said that was it like, oh yeah, because we had all the build up, we had all the solo events, or like all of those training events that gave us pack points or hourglasses, and then we had all the shop tickets, we had all the hourglasses that are like now just if you bought them they're just sitting there grayed out forever, I guess.
Yeah, I
like
hate
the ones
that.
that don't reset.
I wish
you know?
that if you bought all of them,
They would
They
disappear.
just
Yeah,
disappear.
yeah.
Like let the section go away.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I didn't really think about the fact that there was a lot more given, and obviously the game had just come out. They wanted people to be like really in there opening stuff up, but there was a lot more given to Genetic Apex and then with Mythical Island, it was just so small that it didn't feel like I even wanted to open a ton of packs because it was such a small set. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess let me disclose. The Pokemon Company gave me a $100 gift card when the game first came out, and then they didn't do anything for Mythical Island, and then they gave a $100 gift card to me for Space-Time Smackdown. So in my like perspective of, I felt pretty like I felt I could pretty much build every deck with Genetic Apex minus Moltres, because that was like the one card I didn't pull. But like you got all the free packs. I did my $100 worth of stuff, and then from there I didn't spend any of my tokens. So then when I got to Mythical Island, I had like 400, 500 hourglasses.
right.
And I just used hourglasses for Mythical Island. And from that alone, I felt like pretty complete, because Mythical Island was so tiny. And I didn't put any money in. And then the money I did put in, I bought the New Year's sale for I think $40.
Yeah.
And
the
then
sales.
I didn't use it at all because I was saving it for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And so putting $40 of my own money and then $100 of Pokemon money into Space-Time Smackdown, I think I'm like still missing a Dawn. Like I have two of every trainer except Dawn, and I think I'm missing like Lucario or something like that. But I was just thinking like, man, even if you're free to play, Like, I opened 150 packs, and I got one Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's just the luck of it, in some ways. But I am curious to see how this will feel as this set lives on for longer, because we're still pretty close to the beginning of it here, and you're
4
already
days
feeling
in.
kind of done with it, and I'm feeling like I'm so far from done with it, and I'm curious how that's going to age throughout the length of the set.
For me, I kind of feel like that too, because I was thinking like, okay, I opened a ton of packs in the first few days. I would love another Darkai EX so I can put that deck together. But I don't feel the need to like go buy gold to open more stuff now. I feel like now it's like I wanted to open all that stuff immediately to get what I could get. And then now it's like building decks and like going in the battle stuff. And then just going back to opening my, 3 packs a day on premium. So it's like, I know some people will feel like if they're only collecting, then they're just like, and they open a bunch of stuff at first and they're like, oh, now the game's boring because I opened all this stuff and collect all these cards. But for me, it's like, I just open them all right away to get a bunch right away, so that now it's like I can like put stuff together and now
And
just
keep
focus
up
on
with
the
meta
battling
and
then just open on the daily basis, like the couple packs a day.
And I'm actually curious about how it's going to feel being patient over the course of the time that this set is kind of the main set in focus, and seeing if I will even be able to get most of the collection before it switches, because I actually genuinely don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
guess
plan on paying for it. I have considered paying for the Cynthia items. But I just did budgeting this last week, and the subscription is not in it for me.
right.
I think that's the reality that's going to happen. I think that if you are free to play, you are going to get left behind. And I say that as, again, somebody who has played other DeNA games, that you could keep up with Masters and like pull on almost every banner that was coming out. And then at a certain point, banners were coming out faster, or the banners were, instead of 2 weeks, you only have 1 week to pull on this. Mm-hmm. And so if we're supposed to get another set in 26 days, Pokemon Day is the 27th, and then there's supposed to be whatever set comes after this, how fast is that? Is that going to be a month after that, 2 months after that? Like,
there's a rumor on that one too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember what the date was.
It's like late April, but again, rumor. So
yeah,
sure.
I think the Pokemon Day thing makes sense. Like, why wouldn't they do something special for Pokemon Day for sure?
The dates line up actually for like it's like kind of nice if like the rumor is correct of like late April for the next set too, because that's actually like an extra month out versus like with this it was October. Oh no, yeah, and then it was December and then January. Yeah, so that would kind of fit with like timing wise, but yeah, the Pokemon Day ones would make sense just because.
Yeah, that makes
Pokemon
total
Day.
sense.
Like,
They can
you
just
might as
announce
well.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we don't even know how big that set would be. It could just be like a 40 card set or something, right? Like, who knows?
Yeah, I appreciate. So going back to opening a bunch of cards right away, as opposed to like throughout. Now again, if you're free to play, like you're just gonna open what you can and you're saving your hourglasses, whatever. But opening what I can right away, I like, because I can jump right into like what is popular right now, what is like going anti-meta, things like that. Because when the next set comes out in February, even though it's not going to be a full new, if a new set comes out at the end of February, it won't change everything a lot, but it will probably add certain cards that will change up decks, and then it will be fun to change those things up as well, right? So, and you can do those things over time. I mean, if you think about like Mewtwo Gardevoir, still an incredibly powerful deck, and it's been around since the beginning. But Mythical Island did add the what's the card? The slab, the psychic slab.
Mythical slab.
Mythical slab.
Yeah.
It did add that. It changed the deck up a bit. It like changed the way people play it, a little bit. And so I do appreciate the smaller sets for that, because with those smaller sets, it doesn't even feel as much like, oh, I want to collect the whole set to collect it, as much as it's like, ooh, what did they add to kind of like add to the set that came out before it, just to like tweak stuff a little bit. Like I don't expect to see totally new, like 5 or 6 totally new decks, but like at least being able to like tweak stuff that's already out there is fun. And so like being able to play the decks early and then do that is like something that I look forward to with the game. Whereas if you're opening it over time, then you might not be playing the earlier deck because you're just jumping right into like what the newer one is. And I don't know if there's like really a fear of missing out on that in that situation, because it's just like whatever is happening at the moment is happening. But I like being able to play this stuff immediately, which is why I didn't like wait to open stuff. I was just like, I'm gonna open a bunch right now versus like over time or later down the line.
Yeah, no, the opening cards is fun. I don't think anyone's debating that.
Yeah,
I just
also, yeah, that's true.
I feel like we are past the honeymoon period on Pocket, and I do feel like if these sets are coming out as fast as they are saying, I do think there's going to be fall off. I think we already saw fall off with trading.
Yeah.
Where people were like, I'm canceling my subscription, I'm leaving a bad review. Like, and that's fine. That's completely valid to be like, you were excited for trading. Trading is not what you wanted. Again, because I have to say this a million times, I think it's bad. But like, my own opinion is I didn't care for it. They wasn't something that like I gravitated towards. But people could say that about battling. They could be like, I don't care about the battling. Totally cool. I don't know if anyone's going to saying I don't care about the collecting, since that's like the gist of the game is collecting. But I feel like we're starting to see the cracks in this game, and I feel like we will. This set reminds me of the first winter of Pogo. Where like we rarely heard anything negative. Like the most negative you would hear would be like, I'm so tired of seeing Mewtwo's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when Niantic introduced like the Johto babies and stuff, that did bring back people, right? And people were excited. Mm-hmm. But like there was a definite line that like, honeymoon period's over, I'm falling off, this isn't enough to bring me back.
Yeah. I do think I sort of, they need to change up the events that are going to come with this to some extent. And I don't think that that's going to happen at this point in time. I think the solo events are great. I've really liked the solo, like the one that was like gave you the Lapras EX and then the Venusaur and the Blastoise.
Oh,
wait, was it Blastoise? Yeah, Blastoise.
Mm-hmm.
I think those events
those are my
fun.
like least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. Different people really like different things about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just feel like
I don't like hitting the auto battle button and just like like
yeah,
I know I
true.
can win it if I do it, but I don't want to do it because like it's the same battle.
So even there, like some of those like tasks that are there, like the win 20 or whatever, maybe they need to like tweak those a
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
But
I like when it's like win the battle without EXs. Like I think that's a cool puzzle. But when it's like win 10, win 20, it's just like I don't want it.
Agreed.
I don't want 20 battles.
Yeah,
That
Like,
just
I've already won
reminded
it, like-
me that reminded me that there are a bunch of new solo battles to do now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and those are
totally
cool. Those are
forgot
cool.
about
But it's
those are
also
fun.
like it's win the
But-
solo battle 20 times. It's not asking you to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing that is, they could.
But
they
I
could definitely
like
tweak
those
that.
because they teach you about the decks that people are using in this new set, kind of without
Yes.
having to run into them in the versus battles.
No, I like the base. I like the concept of it. I just don't
Yeah.
like when it's like, okay, your only option now is to grind this out 20 times, but you can only do
Yeah.
it like 5 at a time because you got to wait for you got to like spend your points.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I like going through it once and then it's like, oh, You want me to do this 19 more times? And I cannot auto battle. If I auto battle, I have to put my phone in the other room because I'll watch it and I'll be like, "You're making the wrong decision, computer."
I've never auto battled before. I accidentally hit the button one time and like it was like right as I was about to do a move, and I accidentally hit the button, and it immediately did a move I did not want it to do, and I was like, yeah, I'm never like, this is not a thing I ever want to do. So I've never.
It's really useful. I promise.
I'm sure it is. Like
it is pretty good. It's just not perfect.
It's not perfect,
I don't know.
But
like,
I mean, if you weren't going to be playing the game at that time anyways, you may as well just sort of leave it on and let it complete those tasks for you. Is how I go about it.
I guess that's true.
I don't usually. So if it's a repeat battle, I usually make sure I win it the first time myself without having auto battle on, and then if it just needs to win a bunch more times, I'll just let it go at it.
Interesting. I guess I only ever play the game when I'm like focused on like playing the game. So it's like I never like play it and then like am doing something else, which is like rare because usually I am doing multiple things at once. But if
I could auto battle and scroll TikTok, I would do that. If I could like minimize auto battle in the corner, maybe on an Android phone you could do that.
Let me tell you about foldable phones, Steve. You open that up, you get one side that's Pocket, you got one side that's TikTok, and there you go.
That sounds like I'm back in. I take it all back. There are no cracks in this game. It's just my phone. It's my own personal phone.
Don't quote me on that though. You'd have to ask a foldable phone person. I have no idea if the game works like that.
On the side. No, I am worried about free-to-play players. I am worried that there will be a drop-off, and the only thing that is left are people dropping $100 every time a new set comes out. Probably more than $100, honestly. I'm sure somebody's already completed Space-Time Smackdown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah. So many cards.
But hopefully they fix trading in a way that makes people feel better. I don't have a lot of hope. That's just what I'm saying.
I'm gonna stay hopeful. I'm gonna
give you a small situation. There was in Pokemon Masters when it rolled out, there was a multiplayer feature where you could pair up with two other trainers and then battle something and get specific rewards. It was like one of the way to get rewards. And then they started doing less and less of those.
Yeah.
And then people were like, bring back the multiplayer stuff. It doesn't exist at all. Even though there was like a vocal, I don't know, I don't want to say majority. There were just vocal people being like, where's the multiplayer stuff? Where did it go? I liked it. Like, there's just no multiplayer at all in that game. They were just like, we're cutting this.
So I don't play Masters. I've dipped in and out of that game, but I just never like stuck with it. But I do see headlines for things. Aren't they introducing some kind of multiplayer thing in Masters again?
Not that I saw recently.
Thinking that I thought there was some like I thought I saw a thing on maybe like Bulbug.
Set up groups with friends to earn rewards. Yep.
Oh, that's just like that's like a Clash Royale thing. It's like a clan feature in Clash Royale or Clash of Clans. So you make a group, and then it's so Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. It ultimately, like, when everyone in the group participates, everyone will get rewards. But then it's like a Pokemon Sleep thing. We're about to talk about Pokemon Sleep after this segment, but like you kick people off like Hannah who no longer play Pokemon Sleep, because she's taking up a list. So instead of getting 50 candy every morning, you're getting 49. So the group thing in Masters, from my understanding, I haven't looked too deep in it, should be exactly like Clash Royale, where you have like a group of 50 and everyone's doing their things. But if they're not being active, they're like pulling down the group. So you kick them to get another active person in. Then what Clash of Royale did that was crazy, it was so smart in like a psychology marketing perspective, is it would tell you who in the clan would purchase the battle pass. And so when you go in, because there was like a little chat feature, it would be like, Greg bought the battle pass, Steve bought the battle pass, Tone bought the battle pass. And it would be like, oh, I'm the one person in the group not buying the battle pass.
Oh, no.
It was so smart. And it would like convince you to be, oh my gosh, it was like... I suggest Pokemon fans play other games to see that, like, Pokemon has some real nasty tactics, but man, they're crazy other tactics in other games. Like that battle, like if Pokemon Masters does like like so and so just bought 500 gems and like shows the group chat, it's over. You're just like the guilt level is like at an all-time high.
Oh man.
Although, okay, last thing before we take a break, I would like to see TCG add like a friendship thing, and like that would reduce trades.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, friendship level type.
That would be helpful.
thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm if they're trying to prevent the bots and everything, I think like I would love to trade Hannah or Bobby or anyone else in our community. Like you can have whatever you want as long I don't care. Take my Weezings, but they probably don't want that. I'm never gonna see you again. I just want this card.
Right.
I'm gonna delete you afterwards.
Yeah.
Like whatever. We'll see what they do. Clash Royale, here we come. I'm gonna reinstall that game. That game was good.
No.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. We have a little bit more news, and we'll be back from our break in a second. And we are back from our break. Pokemon Sleep. Hannah, are you coming back?
No. No. Nope. If Sneasel didn't bring me back, this is becoming
Clodsire is gonna do it.
On
No.
Taupe Hollow? Good
It's
music
becoming
and
kind of
Clodsire?
the thing that Cafe Remix says, where I like seeing the photos of the Pokemon in the game. I like seeing the whole art style and everything, but I'm good.
Cafe Remix. The art style of Cafe Remix is so good. I think I'm going to re-download
Right?
it. I think you
my
just got
gosh.
me to re-download
Yeah, and
Cafe
you're gonna
Remix.
open Cafe Remix, and it's gonna be like, "Would you like to buy this bundle? This bundle? This bundle?"
When there are 700 ads before playing a 30-second game, I will delete it again.
Okay, there's going to be a new Valentine's Day event. They did this last year where they added, I think they added 2 desserts last year as well during the Valentine's Day event. It will take place February 10th through February 17th. All areas, 2 new desserts and recipes. Your dish will be set to desserts for the week. Pokemon who collect apples, cacao, or coffee are more likely to appear. You also get a 1 final dishes will be multiplied by 1.5, or 3 for tasty dishes, or 4.5 on Sunday. And then Wooper in Paldean form, Clodsire will have a greater appearance, and then Psyduck, Pinsir, Pichu, Ralts, Aeron, Absol, Grubbin, Mimikyu, and Fuecoco will also have an appearance. And then Paldean, Wooper, and Clodsire make their debut. They will be appearing at both Greengrass and Taupe, and there will be Poison type, which there is no Poison Island yet.
Right. Quick question to start this off. In the image that it shows for the event, or I don't know if it's for the event or if it's for like the introduction of like Wooper and Clodsire. There's like a Wooper, there's a Fuecoco, there's a Mimikyu, and then there's like a dish. There's like 2 dishes. One of them has what looks like a cake of some kind, and then one of them has like, it looks like maybe a cannoli, and then a Clodsire. Is the Clodsire cake?
Yes.
Or is that supposed
No,
to be a
that-
Clodsire?
Yeah. There's a Clodsire food item, yes.
I probably
Okay.
pulled it from Cafe Remix. I'm sure there's.
I was just wondering, like, is that supposed to be a cake or an actual Clodsire? Good to know.
Yeah, I love Sleep. Obviously, Bobby does. He just gave it $50. I'm definitely to the point in Sleep where I'm not like sick of it or I'm not tired of it, but I have been more selective of like Pokemon. Like, do I need another ingredient Pokemon, which I think Wooper and Clodsire should be ingredient, or like, do I want to continue hunting like Mimikyu or Aeron on Power Plant? So it's like, Whereas past events, I would be like, oh, I got to go where the event is. Now I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I skipped Rufflet. I don't feel like I missed out.
Yeah, true.
No America bird for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I want to go after what I am looking for. I am excited that this event actually will highlight Topalo, I would imagine, because like since they are going to be showing up there, which is nice. I don't like desserts drinks, but what that makes me, because so like I don't know how anybody else plays this game, but the way I play this game is I maxed out like 2 bigger dishes fairly quickly. So like with salads, I have like ninja salads like maxed out, and then with curry, I know there are bigger dishes, but I have the ninja curry maxed out because I was getting leaks so often because I had 2 Quaquaval. And now I have 1 Quaquaval at 60, so it's getting me a bunch of leaks because it's like double leak. And I've never really focused on desserts drinks. Like I will like actively like ticket myself again if it's dessert drinks to not get desserts drinks. But
no, you're forced in dessert drinks. There's no way to change it.
Yeah, no, yeah. So like on this one, it's like I'm gonna have to go dessert drinks. So, but what that's making me think is like, okay, I need to play this game a little different, where I'm like actually trying to expand on like multiple things and not just like sticking to the things that I've been doing so far.
I don't think you're playing the game weird. I know a lot of people that will try to focus on just one dish for the entire week.
Yeah.
Like I have a couple dishes that are maxed, so I'll use those maybe Monday, Tuesday, just so Snorlax's strength doesn't give me like 2 Pokemon. And then I'll try to like focus on a different dish to power up for the rest of the week.
Right. Which is what I think I'm going to start doing, because I haven't been doing that. I've been focused, like last week I was just, ninja curry was every meal. Like I just ninja curried every meal. And but like now it's like, no, I want to focus on actually like getting more of those leveled up, and dessert drinks, I'm not very high on any of that, but I will jump in and get some more things leveled up with the dessert drinks.
I think I'm just gonna go power plant. I still want. I just want a Palmy. That's all I care about. I ain't got a good one yet.
Yeah,
and there's Mimikyu there. I want a good Mimikyu as well.
Yeah, Mimikyu. I don't know. I really like Paldean Wooper and Clodsire, like as Pokemon. How good are they going to be? I don't know. Like what? We don't have any idea of like ingredients or anything yet for them, right? We won't know until they're introduced.
I think it would definitely be apple, cacao, coffee, I think are the 3 that could be on. I don't know the order though.
Right.
But I think that's what I saw on the subreddit, that it would be those 3, but I don't.
Just because that's what's being boosted that week is those is Pokemon that collect those 3 ingredients. I would guess it starts with Wooper with coffee. Like a coffee Paldean Wooper would be awesome.
Yeah, I spent 8 weeks on power plant, and I finally got a coffee grubbin. So,
is it good otherwise?
No, it is. Yeah, it is good. It is
okay.
Like it's good. Ingredient finding up, ingredient M.
Oh wow! Like
yeah.
I see. Here's the thing: is that I've noticed some chatter in the Slack about like how Steve, you have like too high of standards for good Pokemon in Sleep.
I don't. Those are high standards. I want a triple coffee and ingredient finder.
You want, yeah, but you're like, it needs to be triple coffee, ingredient finder up, and you have to have ingredient finder M. Like,
I'll take an ingredient finder small if I can then just make it an M.
Right. And so I've seen you like talk about this, and then I'll see people in the Slack like, I can't imagine trying to get Pokemon like that. It's like you're trying to get the 100 IV. You're going for hundos, basically. Like
you're going for the
Sleep.
Shundo legendaries and Go, but in Sleep.
No, because my Drifloon is skill trigger medium, and then it is speed of help up. And I feel like most people with like a Golduck or a Drifloon or a Sudowoodo would want like main skill up and then 2 skill triggers. But I just have 1 skill trigger, and then I have speed of help up.
That's
your
drift,
not like
your Drifblim, right? The
Yeah,
one that
yeah.
gave you like 121,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully it pops today because it resets. I need it to pop today because it doesn't carry over to the next week. Yeah, not all my Pokemon. I will take a B rank or I'll take an A or an S rank Pokemon. I'll even take a B. But like I feel like my ingredient Pokemon need to either be neutral nature. I don't know, maybe neutral nature is not good enough. It either has to be ingredient finding up or speed of help up.
Okay. See, yeah.
Like I'll
don't
take
know.
speed of help up on almost any Pokemon.
And this
Right.
is why I don't play anymore. There's way too much patience needed for this.
But I will also never take speed of help down on a Pokemon.
Right. Those are instant transfer.
Yeah, that's like no
Instant
thank
transfer for speed of help down. Speed of help down, or like obviously if it's like an ingredient Pokemon
you. And then it's ingredient down.
down, instant transfer. Yeah. Unless it's shiny, then it just sits. But
Yeah. Speaking of shinies, Pokemon Home had an update, and they added Shiny Enamorus and Shiny Manaphy to the 3.2.2 update to Pokemon Home. You may ask yourself why on a random Tuesday in January did they do this? I think maybe it was a Wednesday.
it was Tuesday.
It was the 3-year anniversary of Legends Arceus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to, in order to get Enamorus, you need all 242 Pokemon in Legends Arceus. You can check that under Pokemon Home when you open the Pokemon Home app on your mobile device, not your Switch device. Thank you, Ilka. You can click your name at the top, and then you can scroll down and you can see how close you are to completing that. And then, so 242 for Enamorus. And then on the good side of things, you don't need all 493 in BDSP, which is
Right.
technically the full dex. You only need the weirdly designed BDSP dex of 150, which doesn't even have all the Sinnoh Pokemon in. It's just like such a weird Pokedex.
Yeah.
But you only need 150 for that. I think the hardest Pokemon for that for people to get would be both be Dialga and Palkia.
Yeah.
There are version exclusives, but I don't think anyone's being like, I don't want to trade my Murkrow. Like, pretty easy to get. Dialga and Palkia themselves would be the hardest ones to get.
Yeah.
Hannah, did you run out and install and start playing BDSP instantly again? You were like, this is the thing I needed in life.
I never finished BDSP to begin with. And no. Although the Shiny Enamorus is a little bit exciting. But not Shiny Manaphy. I don't know. I figure we can get these eventually. They're not time gated.
Yeah, they're not time gated at all. That was like a very frequently asked question is like, when do these expire?
Yeah. Yeah, that was Enamorus I got immediately because that was actually one of the Pokedexes I already finished in Home was because Legends is like the best Pokemon game. No, I really love Legends Arceus. So that one I got immediately. I mean, I played Brilliant Diamond for the first time again in many, many months the other day. And even then I was like, ugh, like I started playing it and I was just like, maybe I can just wait on Shiny Manaphy.
There are so many things in that game that are so bad.
Okay, great. Let's spend the next hour talking about everything bad about BDSP. I'm excited. Here we go. First, the bike.
Or any of the movement. At all.
The movement in that game is atrocious. I have a couple things. I know I talk a lot, but let me get a couple things out of the way. Number one, just to remind everyone, the shiny charm does not work in BDSP. I cannot believe how many people questioned this past week because I had to play BDSP. I'm not saying this to crush your hopes and dreams. I'm saying this because BDSP is a bad game. Now, you might ask yourself, what do you mean it's broken? What do you mean it doesn't work? In order to get the shiny charm in BDSP, you need all 493 Pokemon. It's not the 150. You need a whole Pokedex. And the item itself, the actual shiny charm, says that it will increase the chance of finding shiny Pokemon in the wild, which is what it exactly says in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon and X and Y. It's the same copy and paste. Couple things here. One, they said it was a faithful remake. It ain't faithful at all because the shiny charm never existed in Diamond and Pearl. It was introduced in Black 2, White 2. That was the first time the shiny charm was ever introduced. So you're wrong about it being faithful. Number two, it's lying to you. It does work with Masuda method. So if you are making eggs in BDSP and you have the shiny charm, it does work there. But the actual description says it will increase finding Pokemon in the wild. It doesn't. It doesn't work at all. Is it broken? Maybe. Did they update the game? Yes, several times. BDSP had several updates to fix a lot of different bugs in that game. The shiny charm was never fixed. Now, why I think this game is absolute dog water is they could have just, one, not include the shiny charm if they were sticking with the faithful remake part. Number two, it doesn't work, so why did you include it? Number three, you had plenty of opportunities to patch it and fix it. On top of that, if your intention was for it not to work with wild Pokemon, then change the description of the item and not lie to literally everyone who bought the game. You were just lying to your customers. They expect the item to work and say what it does based on previous versions of the game, and it doesn't do that. Now, they did. No, don't say like, oh, well, they can't change the item. They did. They changed how the text worked in Legends Arceus. They changed how it worked in Scarlet and Violet. They just changed a couple words. All they could have done, all Ilka could have done in like the 6 updates they did for BDSP was like the shiny charm increases shiny Pokemon when hatched through eggs. They could have just changed in the wild to hatch through eggs, and it would have fixed the entire problem. You're just literally lying to your player base. I don't know who at the Pokemon Company is listening right now, because that in itself is it's just so disingenuous to your entire, like, how would you know that? And to all the people this week in my Twitch streams that are like, oh, I didn't know that, like, why would you? Like the game is lying to you.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised you don't know it, because you would expect when the item in the game tells you that it's working, that it would work, and it just doesn't. So I guess, I don't know. That's your PSA. The shiny charm doesn't work. It sucks. You thought trading in Pocket was the worst thing we were going to talk about? The shiny charm just being broken in BDSP is the worst thing we're going to talk about. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't even know why you would Masuda method in that game, anyways. Like, the Sword and Shield is a way better Masuda method game than BDSP.
Yes. Agreed.
Yep.
Glad that
really
wasn't
bad.
a hot take. Shield is a much better Masuda method game. Speaking of Masuda method, this is what you can do, though. I'm going to give you some tips of completing your BDSP Pokedex. Number 1, catch a Feebas in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Transfer it to Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet and just trade using the Prism scale and then transfer it back. Pokemon Home is just checking for the origin mark. So because it sees that the Feebas was originally caught in BDSP, it doesn't care how it evolved into Milotic. So that's going to save you a bunch of time. Number 2 is if you're missing those version exclusives like Murkrow, Misdreavus, I don't even remember the other ones. Anyway, all those Pokemon version exclusives, you can just catch them in like Legends Arceus or Scarlet and Violet, trade them into BDSP, and then just breed them real quick. You just need 2 of each. And then if you want to evolve something like a Craniados or a Shieldon, which I think they evolve at like level 35 or 40, you can catch those or breed those and then move them to Scarlet and Violet, use a bunch of candy, and then move them back, and now you've evolved them pretty quickly. So you could evolve, like when I say like evolve, like you just literally take a box of 30 Pokemon you need to evolve and then move them to Scarlet and Violet and then evolve them all and then move them back into Home. And they actually don't even have to go back to BDSP because once they touch Home and they see the origin mark and they see the evolutions, you don't actually have to move them to BDSP. So those are a couple of ways you can accelerate your Manaphy hunt.
Gonna have to do that because I don't want to go through.
Minimize the amount of time you spend in those broken games.
Yeah. For sure.
I guess I played a lot of BDSP because when I booted up Manaphy, I had 96 out of 150.
Okay.
And it took me 6 hours of the last like 54 I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Too many hours. That's 6 too many hours. I have to play that game again.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that BDSP got a mythical and Scarlet and Violet got a mythical and then Legends just got like Enamorus.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, wait a second. There is a difference here.
I mean, Enamorus is still cool. It's still a really good reward, I think, for completing your Pokedex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a shiny you can't get otherwise at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can breed Manaphy for Fione, and Fione can breed for Fione, and Fione has never been shiny locked, so Fione and Manaphy both make Fione. Fione does not evolve. It's just a weird thing with those two Pokemon.
Yes.
Maybe don't breed that in BDSP. Maybe take that to a game where the shiny charm is easier to get.
I remember, I feel like you bred Fione in
Ultra Sun, Ultra
Moon.
Yeah.
I remember you getting that shiny. It was like 5,000 eggs later or something.
Yeah. It was one of, I think it was either my first or second like ever Masuda hunt or something was Fione.
It was early for sure.
Yeah.
I just remember because what I remember about it was your reaction.
Was it good? I don't even remember.
I just remember your reaction to it being a very good reaction. A reaction that you'd expect someone who just spent 5,000 eggs hunting.
Oh, sure.
Shiny.
Yeah, it's cool that Pokemon Home updated. The good rewards, I think, that are just like not hand-me-outs. Speaking of hand-me-outs, would you like to go to GameStop, Best Buy, Toys R Us, or EB Games? Because there's going to be a flying Tera-Type Eevee and Scarlet and Violet to celebrate Pokemon Day at select retailers through February 7th through February 27th. They're still doing that. They're still doing the ask your local GameStop employee for a code card.
Yeah. Did they advertise it as part of the whole Year of Eevee thing?
No.
Okay.
Just there.
It's
you know, this makes me miss.
It comes with a classic ribbon.
This makes me miss. We were just talking about this in the Slack the other day. Pokemon Pass.
No one misses Pokemon Pass.
I miss Pokemon Pass.
Stop lying to yourselves.
You don't have to talk to anybody at Pokemon Pass.
That's true. You could sit in the parking lot and it would work.
What I was telling the Slack the other day was what you couldn't do, at least at my GameStop, was actually go to the GameStop and have the app show you that you were at GameStop. It could not pick up my location at an outdoor mall, by the way, that I was at the GameStop to redeem the shiny Lunala or Solgaleo back in the day, whatever I was trying to redeem. It wasn't until I left the GameStop, went to the underground parking garage that was nowhere near the GameStop, and opened the app where the app was like, "Hey, you're in GameStop. Do you want to redeem the shiny Lunala or Solgaleo?"
Wasn't like the thing you were supposed to go inside and scan a QR code, but people couldn't find the QR code, so then they did like as long as you were in the area. But then what you just said, Bobby, was like you were in the area and it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But I think the original intention was like go inside the GameStop or Best Buy or Target, find the QR code, scan it, and then you got the Pokemon.
So possibly. What I remember was going to the GameStop. It was not picking up my location that I was there, even though I was standing right outside of the GameStop. And then I went in, talked to an employee, because the whole point was not to talk to anybody, but then I ended up talking to somebody. And they were like, we don't have the QR code. We don't have the codes. So then I couldn't get the codes from the employee. And so I left that GameStop with the defeat of not getting the thing, and was like, oh, whatever, I'll just get this another day. And then at my car literally was like, well, I'll just open the app again and see what happens. And it was like, you're at GameStop, and I got it. Anyways, Pokemon Pass was a mess, but I still miss it.
You missed the idea of it, at least.
I miss the idea of it, yeah. I miss the idea of Pokemon Pass. I don't miss the actual app itself, I guess.
I think this is like a cultural thing where like Americans hate QR codes, but like China, like everything in China is QR code based. There are quite a few QR codes in Japan, but like not more than I feel like I see in America. But the only QR code I ever scanned with Pass was the Mewtwo in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I went in and I found the QR code in like one of the aisles that you could scan. But like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember going to Target and not finding the QR code at all. And then the next day or whatever, they were like, we've expanded it. So as long as you're in the store, it'll work.
Yep.
But that, I mean, you're asking an employee to put up a QR code in an aisle, and it's going to be different everywhere. And who's going to do that? And what if somebody rips it down? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
A flying Tera-Type Eevee distribution does not mean we are getting a flying Eevee evolution in Legends ZA. That's not what it means.
Is that the
current hypothesis?
Yes. Yeah. That's. Let me break this down for you. This distribution is only in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. If they were doing any sort of hint at a new Eevee evolution, I don't know, they probably wouldn't exclude Japan. And number two, if you're going to celebrate Pokemon Day, what do you throw celebrations with? Balloons. The flying type Tera just happens to have balloons. We've already had this before with Pikachu, with balloons. It's not deeper than that. It's an Eevee with balloons to celebrate a day. That's all it is. It's no like, oh, we're definitely getting a flying type Eevee now in Z. No.
Right.
This is why I stand by it. I will never back down. Eevee fans are worse than Charizard fans. They just think everything is like about them. Like every time we get a new game, there has to be a new Eevee evolution. No, there doesn't. There isn't. It's just Eevee is just the equivalent to Pikachu at this point.
You just have a different thing to be vocal about. Charizard fans don't quite have that. It's not. Yeah.
As a true Charizard fan myself, I cannot wait for a third Mega Evolution for Charizard in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I assume what we're going to get in 3 weeks is Charizard Z, Mewtwo Z, and a Flying Evolution. So
yes,
don't worry. Cover all the bases.
Look, there might be a day where we get another Eevee evolution. We got an evolution of Linoon. I didn't think in a million years Linoon was going to have Bobbio. Bobbio has lost his drink.
Oh. Luckily, there wasn't a whole lot of coffee left in there, or else it would be sprayed all over
Look, I never thought we would get an evolution of Linoon, but here we are. Obstagoon is really cool. So maybe one day. If you keep saying there will be a new Eevee evolution, you'll probably eventually be right. I don't think this is the like. I don't think this is the hint you're looking at.
Yeah, probably not.
I can't remember. I think it was like shortly after. Was it after Sword and Shield, or was it leading up to Sword and Shield, where there was like a whole Eevee dedicated Japanese Twitter account, and they would like tweet a bunch of Eevee stuff.
I do not remember this.
This is a thing, but people thought it was leading to a new Eevee, and it didn't. It was just,
I do remember that. Yeah.
And then there was I can't remember her name in the anime, but she had an Eevee. And she kept meeting all like the other Eevee people, and then her Eevee would be like, "Oh, do you want to evolve into a Jolteon?" The Eevee would be like, "I don't know." And then like the next week, it would be like, "Oh, you met a Sylveon. Do you want to evolve?" And then everyone thought like, "Oh, because the Eevee wasn't evolving,
that was building up.
That was going to build to a new Eevee." Spoiler: it didn't.
Didn't.
It just led to Ash retiring. He was like, "This girl didn't evolve her Eevee, so I'm out. I'm out." This is my last season. Get out of here. Yeah, I don't think a flying type. I think it's just a celebration.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
They wouldn't. What people think that a flying type evolution is coming to Legends ZA, and the way that they're going to introduce that is by a flying Tera-Type in the older game
at GameStop.
At GameStop. And not in Japan.
I think the logic that they got there was people thought that Sylveon would have been flying because of the ribbons on her, which I don't really. You guys don't remember this?
You know what? Let's go back to liking leaks. Let's go back to liking leaks so that people aren't coming up with nonsense.
Okay, before Sylveon was introduced as fairy type, the two types that people thought Sylveon was, just based on the design of Sylveon, was either bug or flying. Those were the two most common things. And on this very podcast, I had arguments with the co-hosts at the time that I thought it was a new type, and they thought that they would never do a new type. And then there was like a Japanese game show. I think it was called Pokemon Sunday. That
I remember
where they like put their hands into things and been like, this is like sticky and poisony. So like we know that the Pokemon is weak to poison. And if you added up all the things, it didn't make sense for it to be like bug
any
or
existing
flying.
type. Yeah.
Right. But even when you think about that logic of like, well, we thought it was supposed to be flying, and now this Eevee is flying.
No.
It's just balloons for a celebration. It's just balloons.
I don't know.
That's all it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the flying type Eevee evolution in ZA. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I want to go back real quick to
Okay.
because we were just talking about not just, but like we were talking about Ilka and how like Shiny Charm and BDSP is broken and all of this stuff. Because it reminded me that I did want to praise Ilka.
Oh boy.
Or maybe it's not even Ilka, because it's just that we were talking about how events in Sleep all of a sudden we were getting no communication until like a couple days beforehand.
Oh yeah.
And with the Valentine's event, it's like 2 weeks beforehand.
They
went back to giving us our 2 weeks. They like heard our podcast and we're like, oh, we should push this out 2 weeks beforehand. And so
they definitely listen because they fixed their communication and they were like, "Oh, Hannah, stop playing. We know she likes Clodsire." So they're
Not
for
only
sure
do
listening.
I like Clodsire, but I like Clodsire and I like Valentine's Day, so it's very tempting.
All right, Hannah, what is the next Sleep Pokemon that could bring you back? Just so they know.
Jangmo-O.
Okay, all right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Jangmo-O line. That's
Yes.
That's a good line.
That's a great line.
All right.
And it would look good in Sleep.
Yeah.
I believe more likely that Ilka and the Pokemon Sleep team listens to this podcast than there will ever be a Flying Eevee evolution.
I also believe that is true. Yes.
They're like, these people are right. We need to get back to good communication. Oh, I do have one more thing before we wrap up. If the McDonald's stuff, which goes through the rest of the month, if you wanted to get extra booster packs through the Happy Meal distribution, you have to use the app, and then you have to order the Happy Meal through the app, and then it'll say, like, what kind of toy do you want? Do you want a Pokemon toy, like a infant toy, or do you want no toy? And when you get to the end and you pick up your thing, they don't give you the code card at the McDonald's. It's supposed to come through your email. If in your app you have receive email communications off, you won't get the email for the cards. Now, the thing that I discovered, because I had to buy 2 Happy Meals to literally talk about this, is if you bought a Happy Meal last week like I did, and then you turn on the receive email communication, you will just get that email suddenly. Which I got while I was sitting in the drive-thru waiting for my second Happy Meal, being like, I hope I get the email.
Whoops.
Which that email came like an hour later after my second Happy Meal. So if one of you two don't have the code, I will send it to you. I think Bobby already did it, though.
I'm not buying McDonald's.
I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time. There's one right in the corner from my house, but it's been a long time.
Well, Hannah's the free-to-play player, so I will send you my I will send you my secondary McDonald's code.
That's fine.
Thank you.
But yeah, so if you already got a Happy Meal and you didn't get the email, if you turn on the toggle, just wait. It took like a half hour after I turned it on, and then the email came through, and it's just like, it's a picture of Charizard, and it's like, thank you for spending money, and then the code. For you don't have to buy 2 Happy Meals like me.
It's nice that it applies retroactively like that.
Yeah,
that is one good thing.
It was like really smart. It was very while I was sitting in the drive-thru just waiting, I was like, oh, I haven't even picked up my order yet, and I already got the email. And then an hour later, I got another one. I was like, oh, I really messed this up. That was $6 I didn't need to give McDonald's.
But you got another pack of cards, right?
I did.
Physical
yes,
cards?
I did. I haven't opened either of them yet, but I have 2 booster packs now.
Save them. 10 years from now. 10 years from now, it'll be worth thousands of dollars.
It has to be worth more than the $6 the Happy Meal was. I got my little Miraidon milk carton that I will get that PSA graded.
Nice. Better
And
do
then
it
I got
sooner than later.
my
Gotta wash it
Charizard
out
apples.
first.
Gotta keep it all sealed.
Yeah, keep it all sealed. There's your McDonald's pro tip. All right, this has been our episode. Thanks for making it to the end. Some non-Pokemon stuff. I think going forward, here's the thing. If you made it this long, you probably enjoy very long episodes, which I love to yap. So that's very easy for us to do here. Here's the thing that you might not know about podcasts. Podcasts like when you have like a completion time. So when our show is like 90 minutes long, here's some behind the scenes. We usually have like an 80% completion time. That's crazy good. It means 4 out of 5 people are making it to this part of the show, hearing about sick McDonald's strategies. When our podcast goes longer, when it's like 2 hours, it drops from like 80% to like 60%. Now, I know the 60% are like, love long podcast. Obviously, you've made it to the end. But I really always aim for these shows to be 90 minutes, and then it ends up being very long. So I might switch it where we have a hard 90-minute line, and then if you want like an extra 30 minutes, it'll be like on Patreon. to support what we do here. And there's like some stuff, like the CGC stuff that we'll probably eventually talk about that is not like applicable to everyone. That like we wouldn't move Pokemon Sleep news to like it would be like it wouldn't be like, oh man, you gotta pay to get the McDonald's news or something. It would just be like a topic that maybe not is super news focused. Like the CGC stuff isn't really going anywhere. It's gonna always. I'm really hyping up this CGC stuff. It's a really big scam, actually. Bobby knows what I'm talking about. So it might be something we try going in the future. I mean, right now, if you subscribe on Patreon, you already get ad-free versions of the podcast and everything, so you don't have to worry about that. But because I'm doing video and ad-free versions and the ad version, this is literally my entire Sunday taking up. And so I like doing longer episodes, but I just know from the statistics, people are not finishing the longer episodes. So if you're a hardcore fan, maybe we put that last 30 minutes on Patreon for people. So those people are getting a little extra. But now with that being said, if you subscribe, we'll see you on the other side for the CGC stuff after the break. But yeah, it might be something we try for a couple weeks to see if people like that or whatnot. But people are not finishing our 2-hour episodes, is what I'm saying. Except the people that are, who have made it to this part. So thank you. Anyways, thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bobby. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super still hopeful that the trading stuff in Pocket will get better. Or at least can get better. Still hoping.
More tokens for everyone.